Okay, so we're going to set up the Windsor AC Serpentine Kit bracket. When you take out the bag, you'll see these are your billet parts. So what we're going to do is start to assemble. You're going to see that you have 3 spaces, 2 of which the same length, one is a little bit longer. So you take one of the shorter ones, set it aside for a minute. Next thing we're going to do is assemble the front plate and the AC plate. You'll see that there's a locator on the AC plate with a thread. Now that should just click into place, and you have a little 1/4 inch cap screw to attach them together. Fairly easy, fairly straightforward. Next step will be to get some of the longer 5/16 cap screws. You can drop them through these holes here. Now the way we're going to stack these spaces is, first of all, you can get this part here, thread it through the lower, and the shorter of the other 2 spaces, thread it through there. Next in the stack is the billet timing pointer, which will go on like that. And then you're going to get the rear plate, which will go together like that. You have a 3/8 cap screw. Pop that in there now. And then you can bring these 2 together. The longer of the last 2 spaces, now you want to use for this bolt here. Which is this cap screw here. You can begin to screw that in loosely. And then now what that's going to do is that's going to hold the whole bracket together for you, so you can then go ahead and start mounting up the AC compressor. There's 2 ways to set up these kits. You can set up these kits as is now and then mount this straight to your engine, or you can put the air conditioning compressor in now. Me personally, I prefer to put the air conditioning compressor in now, and that way when you mount to the vehicle, you don't need to worry about this back bolt here touching on the oil pan. So to mount in the AC compressor, we're going to go in this direction here. You can see the fittings will be facing out to the left. You can set that flat. And you get your 2 cap screws. These cap screws are actually M8 that go into the AC compressor. And we'll begin just popping those in. No need to go too tight on these at the moment. These face the front of the engine, so you can tighten them up later. There won't be any issues. Now, on the back of the AC compressor, you've got this ear here, and you've got this hex M8 bolt that's then going to go into this rear support of the bracket. This is the one that can be quite tight when it's up against the sump. So a handy thing to do is get this more or less tight, and then later on you can get a ring spanner in from underneath and completely tighten it up. Now while we're on this angle, I'll explain the rear spaces. So you've got 2 smaller 15mm spaces. They're going to go on the end of the long 5/16 cap screws. And you've got the other of the two shorter spaces is going to go over that 3/8 spaces there. So now once you have this all together on the bench, you can then basically walk it straight up to the engine and mount it straight in. Okay, so the next step is just to come over and pop this onto the engine. We're going to be using these two timing pointer holes here and this earth tab here. So the longer 5/16 cap screws can just slot into that hole. 3/8 that goes into the earth tab, you can do up. That's pretty good to go tight. These simple 5/16 cap screws can be tightened up all the way now, including this one. Don't do them tight, just do them all the way in. Make sure there's a little bit of wiggle room for the alternator to come on. The alternator is quite simple. You've got the longer 7/16 cap screw. That's going to go through this bottom hole here and through this section of the alternator. Pop that in, and at the top you've got your 3/8 by 1 inch cap screw that simply screws into the top. They can just be tightened once you've got the belts on and ready to go. As for the rest of the AC bracket, you can now go ahead and tighten all of the bolts up that are holding the AC on, and then set up your eccentric idler pulley, your belt configuration, and you're good to go.